I just have no particular wish for Christmas. It's just one day I'd like to have 365 days of some peace, somewhere in the world where I could go and enjoy about 300 days of it. After decades of searching for answers about Redd Foxx's departure from Sanford and Son, fans are still left in the dark. One viewer shared, "Redd Foxx won't say anything about his sudden departure from the show. We need an explanation." Demon Wilson, who played Fox's son Lamont on the show, couldn't stop thinking about revealing the truth for a long time. And finally, at the age of 77, he mustered up the courage to tell it all, despite Redd Foxx's objections. Stay calm to listen to the truth about Redd's departure from Sanford and Son. You may be surprised to find out why Redd Foxx left Sanford and Son. According to Demon Wilson, at its height, Sanford and Son stood out as one of the most beloved sitcoms of the 1970 SE, capturing the attention of millions of viewers and solidifying its place in television history. Indeed, when Sanford and Son entered the Friday night lineup, it began to dominate the airwaves, pulling in viewers who couldn't resist the witty banter and comedic antics of Fred Sanford and his son. It is widely reported that Sanford and Son was a major factor in the eventual cancellation of The Brady Bunch, a show that was once very popular. Airing on rival networks, the two shows competed for the same time slot, and it soon became clear that Sanford and Son were the audience's favorites. By 1974, The Brady Bunch had been pulled from ABC's lineup, unable to compete with the comedic force that was Fred Sanford. Behind the scenes, industry insiders referred to Sanford and Son as the show that killed The Brady Bunch, as its rise to dominance effectively split the Friday night audience and left the wholesome family sitcom struggling to maintain its viewership. While Sanford and Son were enjoying immense success on screen, tensions were brewing behind the scenes, particularly around the show's star, Redd Foxx. Fox's portrayal of Fred Sanford had become iconic, and his sharp wit and impeccable comedic timing were key to the show's popularity. However, as the show's ratings continued to soar, Foxx began to feel that he was not being adequately compensated for his contributions to its success. At the start of the show's third season, reports indicate that Foxx was earning $6,000 per episode. This was a considerable sum at the time, but given the show's immense popularity, Foxx believed he deserved a significant pay increase. As a result, Foxx entered into negotiations with the network, seeking a higher salary that reflected his star power and the show's success. Eventually, his salary was increased to $25,000 per half-hour episode, an impressive figure that underscored Foxx's value to the network. At his peak, Foxx would go on to amass considerable wealth, owning 3 large homes, a cosmetic factory, a beauty salon, and 2 luxury vehicles, a 50,000 Rolls-Royce and a 27,000 British Roadster. These acquisitions reflected the newfound wealth and status that Foxx had achieved through his work on the show. Not long after, the relationship between Redd Foxx and the producers of Sanford and Son reached a breaking point when Foxx became embroiled in a high-profile legal battle with Tandem Productions, the company behind the successful show. This clash marked a turning point in Foxx's career, as he fought for what he believed was his rightful share of the show's profits and control over his own contributions. At the heart of the conflict was a $10 million lawsuit filed by Tandem Productions against Foxx, accusing him of failing to show up for work at the start of the new season's taping. Foxx's absence from the set caused immediate disruption to the production of Sanford and Son, a show that had become a staple of NBC's primetime lineup and was highly anticipated by millions of viewers. According to reports at the time, Foxx did not return to the set at the beginning of the new season due to ongoing disputes over his salary, creative control, and ownership stake in the show. Tandem Productions, in response, filed the lawsuit, alleging breach of contract and financial damages resulting from the delay in production. Adding to the drama, Demon Wilson also found himself at odds with the production company. Out of solidarity with Foxx, Wilson chose not to report to work either, resulting in a separate lawsuit against him for his refusal to comply with his contractual obligations. Wilson's decision to stand with Foxx reflected the strong bond the two actors shared, both on screen and off, but it also placed him in the middle of a legal dispute that had significant financial implications for both stars. Beyond his absence from set, Foxx had been making a series of demands aimed at improving his working conditions and securing better compensation. One of the issues Foxx raised was the physical environment of his rehearsal space. He complained that his old rehearsal hall was too confining, making it difficult for him to work comfortably. In response to this, the network agreed to provide him with a new rehearsal hall that had windows, a seemingly minor but important concession in Foxx's view. However, The core of Fox's grievances went far deeper than just the size of his rehearsal space. Fox was also pushing for a significant pay raise as well as a percentage of the show's profits. At the time, he was already making a considerable salary. Reports from the earlier seasons indicate that his pay had been increased from $6,000 to $25,000 per half-hour episode due to the show's high ratings. However, Fox believed that his contributions to the success of Sanford and Son warranted much more. He felt that his role as the star of the show, as well as his early belief in its potential, justified not just a higher salary but also an ownership stake. Fox publicly voiced his frustrations, stating that he had asked for 25% of the show's profits. According to him, the network's offer was far less favorable. "They wanted to give me 25% of the producer's pie," Fox explained, and said it would take 5 years before I could get a piece of the show. "Well, they want to make me look like an idiot." Fox was particularly angered by what he perceived as the network's attempt to minimize his value and delay his access to the show's earnings, even though Sanford and Son was already a proven hit with a massive following. Fox pointed out that when the show first aired, it had a built-in audience of around 25 million black viewers, a demographic he believed was central to the show's early success. As Sanford and Son gained popularity beyond that initial viewership, it became a major financial boon for NBC and Tandem Productions. Fox argued that the show had made millions of dollars, and he wanted his fair share of those profits, especially as the network prepared to sell the syndication rights. The show was slated to be sold to Columbia Pictures for $11 million once it entered syndication, and Fox felt that he was entitled to a portion of that windfall. Fox believed that with 25% ownership of the show, he could secure financial stability for years to come. "I figured that if I had 25% of the show, I could make $1 million a year for the next 10 or 12 years, Fox said, emphasizing the long-term financial benefits of securing a piece of the show's future earnings. His demand for ownership reflected a broader shift in the entertainment industry at the time, as more actors and creatives sought greater control over the projects they helped make successful. Redd Foxx's frustrations with the network were deeply rooted in his extensive career in show business. By the time he was starring in Sanford and Son, Fox had spent 38 years honing his craft as a comedian and performer. He had built a name for himself in the entertainment industry, starting in the world of stand-up comedy and gaining recognition for his boundary-pushing humor and distinctive style. Yet, despite this wealth of experience and his critical role in the success of Sanford and Son, Fox felt he was being treated like a newcomer, with little respect for his contributions or his status as a veteran entertainer. This sense of mistreatment was a driving factor behind Fox's demands for better working conditions, higher pay, and a share in the profits of the show. He believed that after nearly 4 decades in the industry, he had earned the right to be treated with more respect and fairness, both as a performer and as a business person. For Fox, the success of Sanford and Son was not just a career milestone, but also a moment of cultural significance, and he was determined to ensure that his contributions were valued accordingly. His demand for 25% ownership of the show was, in many ways, a reflection of his desire to be recognized not only as a star, but as a key creative force behind one of television's groundbreaking sitcoms. Fox's concerns about being undervalued by the network were shared by his co-star, Damon Wilson. In Wilson's memoir, Second Banana, the bittersweet memoir of the Sanford and Son years, he reflected on the challenges he and Fox faced as they worked to break new ground in the television industry. Sanford and Son was one of the first major network shows to feature a predominantly black cast, and it played a crucial role in changing the landscape of American television. For Wilson and Fox, this was a source of pride. They were making history, pushing boundaries, and providing much-needed representation for black audiences. However, despite the show's cultural impact and its success in the ratings, Wilson revealed that he and Fox were treated poorly by the network in those early days. According to Wilson, when they first joined NBC, they didn't even have dressing rooms, except on the days they were shooting. Instead, they were forced to dress in the men's room, a clear sign that the network didn't value them the way it did other stars. Wilson's account highlights the stark contrast between the groundbreaking work they were doing on screen and the way they were treated off-screen. He recalled that when the first episode of Sanford and Son aired, both he and Fox were fully aware that they were making history. Yet, as Wilson put it, the network tried to deal with us like we were third-class field hands. The immense success of Sanford and Son came at a steep price for Redd Foxx, both mentally and physically. While the show elevated Fox to superstardom, it also placed enormous pressure on him. leaving him feeling drained and overwhelmed by the demands of leading a hit television series. By the end of the third season, the weight of carrying the show had taken its toll, and Fox found himself struggling to cope with the intense workload and the expectations placed upon him. He was eventually written out of the show for the remainder of the season, and he attributed this break to the severe strain that being the face of a weekly series had put on him. According to an interview with People magazine, Fox revealed the extent of the toll that Sanford and Son had on his health, both physically and mentally. He claimed to have been hospitalized 4 or 5 times during the height of the show's run, citing the exhaustion and stress that came with managing the grueling schedule. Unlike his earlier days in Las Vegas, where he performed 2 45-minute comedy sets and had time to enjoy his personal life, working on Sanford and Son left Fox with little time for anything other than work. In Hollywood, he found himself consumed by the demands of the show, spending long hours reading scripts and working on set. This rigorous routine drained him to the point where, as he admitted, when he returned home, all he could do was sleep. The intense workload also had a devastating impact on Fox's personal life, most notably his marriage. Fox was once happily married while living in Las Vegas, where he and his wife enjoyed a more balanced lifestyle. After his shows, they had time to go out, watch movies, or even go horseback riding, luxuries that Fox no longer had time for once he moved to Hollywood. As Sanford and Son gained popularity, Fox found himself dedicating more and more of his time to the show, leaving little room for his wife and family. Reflecting on the breakdown of his marriage, Fox expressed his regret. "When I went to Hollywood, I didn't have time to spend with her like I did in Vegas." His career's meteoric rise came at the expense of his relationship, which eventually led to his divorce. The sacrifices Fox made for his career left him with a growing sense of isolation and fatigue. While Fox attributed his challenges to the physical and mental strain of his job, the network executives at NBC saw things differently. From their perspective, Fox was not handling his newfound fame well. They believed that his behavior, including his refusal to show up on set and his escalating demands, was indicative of someone who was struggling to deal with the pressures of instant superstardom. To the network, Fox appeared to be acting out, unable to adapt to the responsibility that came with being the lead of one of the highest-rated television shows in the country. Tensions between Fox and the network only grew worse over time. As the star of Sanford and Son, Fox knew his value to the show, and he frequently pushed back against what he saw as unfair treatment or inadequate compensation. His disputes with the network became notorious, and at times, the tension boiled over into open conflict. One of the most dramatic moments in this ongoing power struggle came when Fox reportedly arrived at the studio carrying a pearl-handled revolver. This incident underscored just how strained the relationship between Fox and NBC had become. While the revolver may have been more symbolic than threatening, it was clear that Fox was reaching a breaking point and was determined to assert his authority. Despite these intense clashes, Fox and the network eventually managed to come to a resolution. The two sides reached an agreement that allowed Sanford and Son to continue for another 3 seasons, ensuring that the show would remain a fixture of NBC's primetime lineup. This truce was crucial for both Fox and the network, as Sanford and Son was a major success, both critically and commercially. The show's high ratings and cultural significance made it clear that neither Fox nor NBC could afford for the situation to escalate further. As Sanford and Son entered its 6th season, Redd Foxx was ready to move on. Despite the massive success of the show, Fox had grown frustrated with NBC and the limitations placed on his career. At the height of his fame, Fox had emerged as one of the most influential black entertainers on television, but he felt stifled by the network, which he believed had failed to offer him the same opportunities as his white counterparts. His decision to leave NBC wasn't just about wanting to try new things. It was the culmination of years of feeling underappreciated and overlooked by an industry that often treated him as a novelty rather than a legitimate star. Fox's move to ABC was a major shift in his career. According to the New York Times, ABC made him a highly lucrative offer that included his own variety show. For Fox, this was an opportunity to step away from Sanford and Son and explore new creative avenues. The deal offered him both financial rewards and the chance to expand his reach as a performer. Some even compared the move to that of Barbara Walters, who had famously left NBC for ABC under similar circumstances. Walters had made headlines as a trailblazing journalist, and Fox's departure was seen in much the same light. A powerful talent looking for new horizons after feeling undervalued. Fox's dissatisfaction with NBC wasn't just about money. It was about recognition and respect. In a candid interview, Fox expressed his frustrations with the network and the broader entertainment industry, highlighting the ways in which he felt he had been denied opportunities to grow as an artist. "I wasn't stolen," he said of his move to ABC. "I just floated away on a lake of bewilderment." He felt fed up with NBC, particularly because he never had the chance to produce his own work or host a special. Fox pointed out that, unlike many other stars in the business, he had never been invited to host The Tonight Show, a clear indication, in his view, of how he was treated differently from his peers. Despite being the star of NBC's top-rated show for 6 years, Fox felt that he had been denied the chance to grow as an entertainer and take on new challenges. For Fox, this lack of opportunity wasn't just a personal grievance. It was also about the larger issue of representation for Black entertainers in Hollywood. He saw himself as a role model for many Black viewers, particularly young people who watched him every week on Sanford and Son. Fox believed that his success could inspire others, but he was dismayed by the lack of recognition and awards for himself and other Black performers. "Many Black youngsters watch me every week and know I should win something," Fox said. "They're not idiots. Those kids know Sanford or Redd Foxx hasn't won anything." Fox's frustrations extended beyond his own experiences. He pointed out that many of the other successful Black-led shows on television at the time, such as The Jeffersons, Good Times, and That's My Mama, were also being overlooked by major awards shows like the Emmys. Despite their popularity and cultural significance, these shows were rarely, if ever, recognized by the industry. "We were the #1 show at NBC for 6 years, and you think that they would nominate us?" Fox asked incredulously. "Can you believe it? The whole thing ought to be investigated." Fox's comments speak to the systemic racism that permeated Hollywood at the time. While Black-led shows were making strides in terms of representation and popularity, they were often ignored by the predominantly white institutions that handed out awards and accolades. For Fox, this lack of recognition was not only a personal slight, but also a disservice to the community as a whole. He believed that winning awards and receiving industry recognition could provide a sense of validation and pride for Black viewers who rarely saw themselves represented in the mainstream media. After leaving Sanford and Son, Redd Foxx embarked on a new chapter of his career with high hopes, particularly with the launch of The Redd Foxx Show on ABC. The network had offered Fox a lucrative deal, including his own variety show, which seemed like a promising opportunity for the comedy legend to broaden his horizons beyond his iconic role as Fred Sanford. Unfortunately, The Redd Foxx Show failed to live up to expectations, lasting only 13 episodes in its single season. Despite Fox's immense talent and popularity, the variety show format didn't resonate with audiences as anticipated, and the show was canceled, marking a major disappointment in Fox's post-Sanford and Son career. While Fox's new venture struggled, NBC was determined to keep the Sanford and Son brand alive. The show had been a massive success for the network, and executives sought ways to continue capitalizing on its popularity, even without its 2 stars, Redd Foxx and Demon Wilson. As a result, NBC pursued a series of spin-offs that aimed to extend the universe of Sanford and Son with varying degrees of success. The first of these spin-offs was Grady, which debuted in 1975. The show centered around Grady Wilson, one of the beloved supporting characters from Sanford and Son, played by Whitman Mayo. Grady was known for his humorous antics and his close friendship with Fred Sanford, often serving as the comic relief on the original show. NBC hoped that Grady's charm would carry over to a new series, which focused on Grady moving in with his daughter and her family in Westwood, California. Despite the network's efforts to capitalize on Grady's popularity, the spin-off failed to capture the magic of the original series. Grady struggled to find its footing, and after just 10 episodes, the show was canceled. The failure of Grady did not deter NBC from continuing to experiment with the Sanford and Son brand. When Sanford and Son officially ended its run in 1977, the network sought another opportunity to keep the show's legacy alive with a new spin-off, Sanford Arms. This time, the show introduced new characters and a different premise, moving away from the core dynamic of Fred and Lamont Sanford. In Sanford Arms, the story shifted to Phil Wheeler, played by actor Theodore Wilson, who moves into the Sanford home after Fred and Lamont leave for Arizona. Phil, along with his 2 teenage children, attempts to convert the rooming house next door into a successful hotel. The show aimed to keep some continuity with the original by including familiar faces such as Grady, Whitman Mayo, Bubba, Don Bexley, and Aunt Esther, LaWanda Page. But without Fred and Lamont, it lacked the heart of Sanford and Son. Sanford Arms faced an uphill battle from the start. The absence of Redd Foxx's iconic Fred Sanford character left a gaping hole that the new cast struggled to fill. The chemistry between Foxx and Demon Wilson had been one of the key elements that made Sanford and Son a hit, and without it, Sanford Arms felt disconnected from the original series. Audiences didn't respond well to the new direction, and the show was plagued by low ratings from the beginning. NBC pulled the plug on Sanford Arms after just 4 episodes, making it a short-lived and largely forgotten entry in the Sanford and Son franchise. The failure of Sanford Arms signaled the end of NBC's attempts to extend the Sanford and Son universe without its original stars. Despite the network's efforts, the spin-offs were unable to capture the unique blend of humor, heart, and cultural relevance that had made Sanford and Son such a beloved show. Redd Foxx's departure had left a void that neither Grady nor Sanford Arms could fill, and NBC ultimately moved on from the franchise. In 1980, Redd Foxx and NBC attempted a reconciliation by bringing back Foxx to the network for a revival of his iconic character in the new series, Sanford. This series was intended to recapture the success and cultural impact of the original Sanford and Son series, which had ended in 1977. The revival, which simply carried the name Sanford, marked a notable return for Foxx to the network after his tumultuous departure from NBC and his subsequent projects. The details surrounding Foxx's salary for Sanford remain somewhat unclear, but it was known that he had negotiated a substantial deal to return to television. Despite his re-engagement with NBC, one significant figure from the original series was noticeably absent: Demon Wilson, who had played Lamont Sanford, Fred Sanford's son. Wilson's refusal to return to the show stemmed from unresolved issues with Foxx, dating back to the end of Sanford and Son. Wilson's grievances were rooted in the way Foxx had exited the original show. According to Wilson, he had felt blindsided and hurt when Foxx decided to leave Sanford and Son without giving him any advance notice. This lack of communication led to a breakdown in their relationship, leaving Wilson feeling betrayed. "I saw Redd Foxx once before he died, circa 1983, and I never saw him again," Wilson recounted. Their last meeting, which took place at the Malibu Racquet Club, where Wilson was playing tennis, occurred under somewhat strained circumstances. During this encounter, producers approached Wilson with the idea of participating in a 50th anniversary special for Foxx. Despite this opportunity to reconnect, Wilson found Foxx to be less than affable during their meeting at Foxx's office. Wilson's disappointment was not merely about Foxx's departure, but also the manner in which he discovered Foxx's departure from the show. He revealed, "I found out in the hallway at NBC from a newscaster, indicating that he learned about the end of Sanford and Son from a news source, rather than directly from Foxx." This revelation contributed to Wilson's feelings of betrayal, as he was not informed personally by his co-star about such a significant change. Despite these lingering feelings, Wilson made it clear that he did not harbor deep animosity toward Foxx. In his memoir, he described his sentiment towards Foxx in a nuanced way. "I had no animosity toward Foxx for quitting the show in 1977, because I had a $1 million contract at CBS to do Baby I'm Back." Wilson's ability to secure a lucrative contract for a new show was a testament to his resilience and success as an actor. However, the real source of his hurt was the lack of direct communication from Foxx regarding the show's end. "My hurt was that he didn't come to me about throwing in the towel," Wilson explained. Though he eventually forgave Foxx, the sense of being left out of crucial decisions remained with him. Unfortunately, Redd Foxx passed away in 1991, leaving behind a complex legacy. Despite his immense contributions to television and comedy, Foxx's later years were marked by financial difficulties. He fought diligently for what he felt was rightfully owed to him, but his efforts to secure a fair share of his earnings and recognition often seemed to fall short. By the time of his death, Foxx's fortune was reportedly in the negative, a stark contrast to the success and acclaim he had achieved during his career. Foxx's struggles with financial management and industry recognition were intertwined with his broader vision for Black representation and accomplishment. Throughout his career, Foxx was not just concerned with his own success, but with the representation of Black achievements and contributions to American culture. He envisioned creating a shrine and museum dedicated to celebrating Black accomplishments across various fields. His dream was to showcase the significant achievements of figures like Jackie Robinson, Nat King Cole, and Ralph Bunche, highlighting their impact on history and society. Foxx's motivation for this vision was deeply personal and driven by a desire to counteract negative stereotypes and misinformation about Black people. He was passionate about educating both black and white youth about the real contributions of black individuals, hoping to combat the harmful stereotypes that were prevalent in society. "My biggest dream is to establish a shrine and museum of black accomplishment," Foxx declared. He wanted this institution to serve as a counter-narrative to the derogatory and false perceptions that some held about black people. Foxx believed that showcasing the successes and innovations of black individuals would provide a powerful rebuttal to racist ideas and inspire a more accurate understanding of black history. Foxx was also acutely aware of the need for this education to reach white audiences. He felt that white children in particular needed to learn about black achievements, to challenge and dismantle prejudiced beliefs they might inherit from their parents. White kids need it more because they're the ones who are going to have to bring down this prejudice, Foxx said. He envisioned a future where white children could stand up against racist stereotypes by citing the contributions of black individuals, such as those who made significant medical advancements. Foxx's goal was to create a cultural shift that would challenge racism and promote a more inclusive and accurate view of history. In addition to his vision for a museum, Foxx was deeply invested in his role in shaping American comedy. He felt a profound sense of frustration about his place in the historical narrative of his profession. Despite his groundbreaking work and the significant impact of Sanford and Son, Foxx lamented what he perceived as a lack of recognition for his contributions. "The same kind of thing happens in show business," he noted. 20 years from now, when they mention the Emmys, my name will be among the guys who had something to do with American comedy. It means that I'm eliminated from the history of my own profession. I didn't do nothing. It's like I wasn't there." Foxx's sentiment reflects the broader struggles faced by many pioneering black entertainers who felt that their contributions were often overlooked or undervalued in the mainstream narrative. His frustration with being excluded from the recognition he felt he deserved was compounded by his broader concerns about the representation of black talent and accomplishments. Despite his significant impact on television comedy and his role in breaking barriers for black performers, Foxx felt that the industry's acknowledgement of his achievements was insufficient. What do you think about why Redd Foxx left Sanford and Son? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.